Moms and dads, do you wish you could know where your kids' shoes are at all times? Now you can with Skechers' newest Apple AirTag compatible sneakers, Find My Skechers. There's a clever hidden AirTag compartment under the shoe's insole. It's sleek, secure, and your child can't feel or see it. Then you can check where your kids' shoes are on the Find My app. Plus, they're available for boys and girls. Get Find My Skechers at Skechers.com, a Skechers store near you, or wherever kids' shoes are sold. Apple AirTags sold separately.
NetCredit is here to say yes to a personal loan or line of credit when other lenders say no. Apply in minutes and get a decision as soon as the same day. If approved, applications are typically funded the next business day or sooner. Loans offered by NetCredit or lending partner banks and serviced by NetCredit. Application subject to review and approval. Learn more at netcredit.com/partner. NetCredit. Credit to the people.
Coming up on this episode of the Mario Rosenstock Podcast.
I genuinely believe I'm uniquely suited towards solving this one problem. There's someone out there who's going to cure cancer. There's a lot of other smaller problems in the world. And I think that sometimes you're put on a path where if you embrace it and accept it, that you can be the one who solves that. And I believe this is my one. And that's why you can't compete against me in a winning sense, because I'm too driven. I'm too obsessed with this. It means too much to me to step back from it. I genuinely believe that I'm fulfilling my destiny. But I really, really believe that.
Karl Deeter has been a guest on my podcast and my radio show before that many times. We always have a great chat about US politics, his take on Trump, which is always interesting and which I rarely agree with, but because Karl is such an intelligent and articulate fella, I always have time for his opinions. And also some of the big ticket political and societal issues in Ireland, particularly revolving around housing and finance, etc. But we have never really spoken about Karl's own business, and to be honest, I don't know a whole lot about it. I know that he was a broker and that he got involved in the tech area of brokerages for some time. That's it, until I opened up the Irish Indo the other day and read a headline that jumped right off the page. Patrick and I were on the phone to each other straight away. Karl Deeter sells his company for, wait for it, €9 million. Yeah, you heard that correctly. €9 million. And to think, the last time we were out with him, we bought the stakes. I had no idea about the scale of what he was working on. And I was delighted for him because I've always known him to be a really hard worker and a really collegiate person, a person who's always talking to people, finding out about them, what they're doing, what they're up to. And a bit of a boulevardier, if you like, somebody who's always chatting with people and seeing what the latest gossip is and all that. But a person of great integrity as well, I might add. So we had to invite Karl back onto the show straight away to tell us the full story. And it is a brilliant story because Karl was far from an overnight success. He spent years trying to figure out even what he wanted to do. And when he finally found something he was good at and started to get successful at, the 2008 recession wiped it all away and he basically had to start from scratch. But since then, he's been quietly building things back up and working 12-hour days to build a highly innovative tech platform which has been attracting a lot of attention from both investors and potential buyers. And after just a few years, he's just hit the jackpot. It's a cracking story, and he shares it all on this episode of the Mario Rosenstock Podcast.
The crisis absolutely crushed us. The mortgage market shrank 95% in 2 years. So there was €2.50 floating around in a market for every €100 that used to be in there, and we were all scrapping over that. It really was a survival of the fittest. Great guy, great investor. I remember meeting him and he was like, I don't think you're going to make it. I was like, he's right. But I said to him, look, if you don't like it, don't do it. It's that simple. And I think that when he actually sat down and thought about me as a person, the expertise I'd built up over the years, he then said, okay, right, I'm in. Like you're on the creative world of giving people release by giving them things to laugh about. Yeah. I'm in the creative world of creating a product that will hopefully improve certain aspects of financial services. Within the ethos of trying to create and get an outcome, they're actually quite closely aligned and they have a process and it takes hard work and people don't see that. They see the end result and just think this this just magically happens. There is a part of me that wishes I played the big game, or played in the big league, like the way a footballer, say, who plays in a local good team versus if they ever could have gotten into the championship. Another part of me thinks, what would I have had to give up for that? What would I have lost along the way?
My full chat with Karl Deeter is coming up right after this because, listen, Taylor Swift has announced now that she's in the podcast game. She's just done her very first podcast. It's not even a music podcast. So now some of the big podcasting figures in Ireland are circling around her like moths about a candle to see if she'd come on theirs.
Hello, Taylor. This is David McWilliams here.
And this is John as well.
And John, yeah.
Sidekick.
Shut up, John.
Yeah.
Just inviting you onto my podcast to discuss your phenomenal earning power and how your wealth is the equivalent of Ireland's GDP at the moment.
Brilliant.
You know, I was lucky enough to get tickets to your last concert in Dublin.
I was in Croke Park as well.
But unfortunately, I got into a row over 2 pints of Heineken with some fucking scope.
Oh, Jesus.
We
John.
bumped into him and knocked his pint all over me.
No,
Like,
David.
Jesus, I kicked the bleeding bollocks out of my Taylor.
Sorry about this, Taylor.
Listen, have you been fucking had these scams done about you on the net as well, have you?
Taylor, don't mind him.
My voice, Jesus Christ, I'm going to sue the bollocks off them.
Get off the phone, will you, David?
Will I talk now, yeah?
Go on, talk.
Hi, Taylor. This is Vogue Williams here.
This Joanne McNally.
Yeah. Do you want to come on our podcast? It's massive. My therapist ghosted me.
You're a fucking ride, Taylor.
Yeah, you have an unbelievable
Everything.
body, like and face. Have you had work done?
Have you seen her arse? It's like a fucking peanut at this stage. How did you do it, girlfriend? Get on here.
Hello, Taylor. This is Matt Cooper here.
And I'm Ivan Yates. Who's that?
Taylor Swift.
I never heard of her. I had 50 quid on a course called Trailer Swift.
Oh, what a Philistine. Anyway, do you want to come on the Paths to Power podcast? We've so much in common, Taylor.
Like what, Matt?
Well, like we both hate Trump for starters.
You hate Trump?
Ivan loves Trump.
I don't love Trump. You have Trump derangement syndrome, Matt. Oh, anyway, Taylor or Trailer, whatever your name is, see you on the podcast.
I wonder if Taylor Swift is in the market for a fancy new bathroom because she would do worse than go to Deluxe Bathrooms. Deluxe Bathrooms getting 70% off Europe's biggest bathroom brands. DeluxeBathrooms.ie online. They're at Little Island Retail Park in Eastgate in Cork, and they're in Dundalk Retail Park as well. Unbelievable company. Upgrading your bathroom doesn't have to be expensive. Why not capitalise on these amazing offers while they last? DeluxeBathrooms.ie have got involved with the Mario Rosenstock podcast and podcasting in general, and they are playing an absolute stormer. So listen, take my advice, make your dream bathroom come true, a reality with Deluxe Bathrooms. Visit their amazing showrooms in the places I mentioned or deluxebathrooms.ie. Okay, it's time to meet the main man of the hour, my old friend Karl Deeter, back on the podcast to tell me how he hit the jackpot.
All right, Carl? Yeah, let's go.
Okay, let's go. Okay, so Karl, you are familiar to us through your appearances on Matt Cooper and indeed on my show and even on my podcast and everything. And you'd often appear on the radio discussing financial matters and indeed housing matters and sometimes mortgage matters and brokering matters, because that's what you were, a broker. Just take me back to the history before, let's say, maybe before the crash and what you were doing and then through the crash.
So I got back from the USA. I moved home in the year 2000 from Chicago, where I was living at the time. I started working kind of door-to-door life insurance sales and premium collection. I wasn't too fond of that. I tried to start a home renovation company, rapidly failed there, so I was unemployed. I got a job working in a mortgage brokerage, and I kind of found what I was good for. You know, I've done a million jobs. Like I used to train dogs, play music, whatever. I literally think I tried everything to eventually narrow it down to this. I liked it. I pulled together with two friends. We all put in about $5,000 each and started Irish Mortgage Brokers in 2000 and early 2003. And then we started to grow kind of, exponentially. We had a team of almost 40 people going into the financial crisis. I did actually think there was going to be a crisis, and that's actually what got me started in commentary, because I had written about that in the Sunday Tribune, which is gone now, and I got a bit of flack for it. And then I went on with George Hook and spoke about some issues. He's out of circulation now too in radio. And then Eamon Keane. Those were the guys who kind of were saying, you should listen to this guy. He's from industry. Instantly, you may as well have crapped in the milk, because like everyone was like, who's this guy? How dare you? I think I was in part of that cohort that Bertie Ahern should off themselves. So
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't talking about me specifically, but I was just in
No.
kind of that general group. But then those things started to happen, and that was a tortuous process. Around 2006, though, I also bumped into a friend named Eamon Leonard on a street corner. I was like, "Well, I haven't seen you forever. What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm out of work. I make computer systems." I was like, "Wow, 'cause I've always wanted to do that, So would you start working with me?" And we did, and we made something that was cool where clients could log in and you could load your documents on the cloud. He introduced me to another guy called Owen McCabe, who was saying, "Yeah, you should try this, try that." Well, Owen then started a company years later called Intercom that is now actually a tech unicorn. It's like €1 billion company. So all those guys were influencing me. We made this cloud system way before anyone else in the industry had thought about it. We were way ahead of what the banks had at the time.
What was it?
It was
exactly. Simplify it for me.
So it was an online mortgage system.
Yeah. And banks weren't doing it?
Not in those days, no. No, it was still entirely paper-driven. In fact, when you wanted to send loans to AIB back at that point, as a broker, you were using faxes, which is like, it's mad stuff. Anyway, yeah, look, we laugh at it now because we've come so far, but that was the norm.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the crisis absolutely crushed us. Got through those years. It was all we could do.
Crushed. Now it crushed you. So
well, I stayed trading through it, and I didn't lose like my house or anything else. But and I didn't miss any mortgage payments. But the business was absolutely decimated.
Because hilariously, in a time where our crash, killed people with mortgages and killed banks, you were into mortgages with banks.
Yeah, I know. Actually, I was working it out before. So basically, the mortgage market shrank 95% in 2 years. And then the procurement fees, what a broker gets paid, was cut in half by the banks, almost all simultaneously, and yet independently, of course.
Yeah.
So there was €2.50 floating around in a market for every €100 that used to be in there. And we were all grappling and scrapping over that. So it really was a survival of the fittest. But we did survive. Great business partners who helped see the business through. I think if I was on my own, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have made it, I should say. So that was that. Around 2017, I thought, I'm still into these systems. I want to get going on that again.
Yeah.
And I really feel it'll be a theme in what I talk about, the hand of fate in my life. Because in the same way that I bumped into a school friend on a street corner, I got chatting to a buddy who was a classmate. He was in the bright class, I was in the thick class, but we were friends. And I said, "Yeah, I want to build this new thing." He's like, "We should do it on phones, because I'm doing everything on phones, and I specialize in accelerated mobile pages, AMP pages. It's an internet thing for like news." His name is Ruan O'Donoghue. In fact, he actually wrote the book on them, if you're into that kind of thing. And so we started building that out. I play music in a bar, and while I was working in bars, playing in this one pub in particular, there was a kid there. I always loved his work ethic, Adam O'Donoghue. The two aren't related, just the same last name. I was like, "What are you doing with yourself?" "I'm studying computer science, I was like, "Wow, well, when you're done, I might have some work for you, and he's actually a co-founder. So I just, like I said, this kind of position of fate has been coming into my life. We started building it again. I realized that instead of doing it for myself, it would be better if I did it for the good of the market in general. So I spoke to some brokers, and on basically the backing of my word and a promise, they said, "Yeah, if you build something like that, we'll join you."
Tell me about your backers, and who were they, and how.
So I was running out of money coming into 2020 because I was self-funding, and so I said, "Okay, look, I'm going to actually go and raise finance for this." And so I started going around, talked to all the venture capital firms. They were all kind of, interested enough that they wanted to meet me and then mull over the business plan. And then literally when I really hit the road for the road show, it was the week before COVID. And then like that Paddy's Day weekend in 2020, suddenly we were in lockdowns. All the VC firms or venture capital firms, sorry, I hate using abbreviations. They all said, "Look, we're saying no to everything until we know where this is going. Yeah. Too much uncertainty." I found a few people who in that still had faith. They were all diehard entrepreneurs themselves. So you had Patrick Joy. He runs a company called SureTank. He was Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year in, I think, 2012. So like in the bad years, he was doing amazing things. Sold his company for loads. Great guy, great investor. I remember meeting him and he was like, "I don't think you're going to make it." I was like, "He's right." But I said to him, I said, "Look, if you don't like it, don't do it. It's that simple." And I think that when he actually sat down and thought about me as a person, the expertise I'd built up over the years, he then said, "Okay, right, I'm in. and he did what's called leading the round, which means that he was in first in front of everyone to help get all the legals done, etc. Hand in hand with him was a guy called Harry Largy, who's done great work in kind of information technology, comms, etc. The two of those guys do a lot of work together. And then Tom Kennedy from Hostelworld came in. Wonderful guy. I consider all these people wonderful. Like, they backed me when no one would. But I am just particularly fond of Tom as well. We're into a lot of the same things. And Paul McKeown, who had Propylon, which was another business that sold a few years ago for I think around 30 million. They do like drafting of legislation for state legislators or something like that in the USA. And they became the backers. And so with that, we went to Enterprise Ireland, who then put in some more. And the early days...
Were they helpful, Enterprise Ireland?
Enterprise Ireland are definitely helpful for getting you matched funding. I'm a fan. I think it could be done slightly better. But they are taking risks, and a lot of the businesses don't actually work out. So, I mean, in that sense, I can understand.
But it's a numbers game, isn't it, Karl? Business is a numbers game.
It is. There's a large operational part of it, which is the actual thing that you're doing. But after that, there's a lot of numbers involved. And that's why I'd always tell people, by the way, if you want to do business, make sure you get like numerically literate. No,
I didn't mean that. I meent an odds game. I mean, for every business that for every good idea that makes it, 5 good ideas won't.
Yeah, no, in every 10, 3 will do okay, and 7, some may fail, some may just trundle along and never really make a return. So that was really helpful. We did that. We did the raise. We had early clients, like I said, all these different companies. We had Park Financial Brokers. We had, Mortgage ABC, all these different firms that put their faith in me. And I'm hugely, hugely appreciative to them, because they were the reason why we were able to say, like, we have proof of the market here, My own brokerage was using the software at the time as well. Then AIB came in and built an integration with us. So just to explain what we do, actually, we build a system so that customers can basically apply for mortgages over their mobile phone. It'll have the broker's branding on there and give them a system that is every bit as good as the best that the banks have. Okay. And then once that stuff is on there, they can, do their communications, get all their compliance done, IDs, various things like this. And then our system will spit it into the bank system. And that's called a bank integration. So we got an integration with Haven going. That kind of gave us further validation in the market. After that, Avant Money had just entered the market. They wanted a partner for doing something new and exciting. We convinced them to work with us. Very innovative team, very forward-thinking people. We built an integration with them. That was these weren't successful financially, but as an actual product development, they were big moves for us. And then others started to follow. So Finance Ireland rode in, and now they've since shut down, but they rode in to do it. We got Bank of Ireland came in, which is the country's biggest lender, and we have an integration with them across basically all the products now. Another lender called New Money, who were a new entrant to the market, came in 2024. But we've been talking to them since 2021, because remember, we had to meet them in London during the travel ban, and it was, I was just remarking walking around like how even London was so quiet. So it takes time for this stuff to build. New is an example of best in class. Like, you press a button, everything is done. And then we're also helping other lenders enter the market, such as Capital Flow, which is owned by a huge institution called Bunk over in the Netherlands, and they're going to roll out to the market this September.
Yeah, we've heard their ads on the radio. Bunk, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, it's Capital Flow specifically, though, and they're starting off doing investment property loans, which is super exciting. Some of the banks haven't, sadly, engaged with us, like Permanent TSB, but they'll get there one day, because we're just representing more and more of the intermediary market. So we started getting along, getting further, and then the opportunity is, I started to realise that, like, brokers, about a third of their income on the mortgage people is from being a financial broker. And that means advising people on pensions, insurance, investments. And I said, we're going to need something in that space. So naturally, me being me, I was like, we're going to build it. Started building. And I was like, we are never going to get anywhere, because the other solutions out there had like a 15-year head start. In this space, I really only had one competitor, and they had an 18-month head start on us. In that space, they were like decades. So I went talking to some of the competition in that space, and I tried to strike a deal. We succeeded with one that was called Money Advice, based out of Ennis. Good guy there, Philip O'Reilly. He, quite visionary, and very, very tenacious, drove his business all he could. He's getting on in years, wanted to get out. So we struck a deal with him in 23. That closed in January 2024. And now we were the first, and still are, the only solution that is across all financial broker products of mortgages, pensions, investments, savings, retirement. And we started to modernize the products, integrate them together. And that created a very exciting story. Suddenly there was a lot of calls coming through saying, we'd like to chat to you. Of course, everyone wants to chat to you.
And when do you say chat to you? Those are people circling you, are they?
Yeah. So, but circling you in a good way. It's not like the vultures around a corpse. It's more like, what's the opposite of that? Like a good version. I'm usually not short of analogy.
Flies around honey? Moths about a candle?
Yeah, moths around a light, that's it, yeah. And the moths in this case are private equity firms. Some got chatting to us last August.
I was going to say flies around shit. But
that's what it when you say flies around anything.
I meant wasps around honey or whatever.
Bees around, I don't know. Yeah.
Flies around shit would not be a good analogy.
Well, it is actually a great analogy. I just hope it's not one that applies to me. Although, depending on how you feel about me, that it could work too. So I had one or two guys that I was like, well, I feel like a good kind of alignment with them. Because whoever you end up doing a transaction with, it is a marriage of sorts. Like you're now tied into their world, their way of thinking, their vision. So I was playing two of them off each other, which is what you should do ethically as a promoter of the business. The more competition, the better. And then kind of getting a little bit cold feet from one, and I didn't like the way the other one was going. And another company came in and started talking to us, and that was Software Circle, who are a PLC listed on the alternative investment market in London. They were like, look, if you're not in a period of exclusivity, we'd like to chat. I was like, yeah, look, I'll chat to anyone. It's always like, anyone who wants to chat, I'll chat to anyone. And they seemed like not only were they a good fit, the way they were talking about what they thought we could do was good. I was trying to orchestrate a couple of things concurrently, and they saw the same vision I have. And then you started the proctology process, which is referred to as due diligence, and that's where everyone crawls right up your arse to find everything out about your business to the nth degree. Yeah. We got through that in kind of June, July. You do a whole load of diligence on legals, on financials.
I see.
It's actually a pretty intensive process, which I can't adequately describe to someone, but if anyone listening has actually done it, they'll know what I'm talking about. And if you
it's like a Premier League player being brought from Argentina, and he's getting a fitness test in Old Trafford, and he's put on the slab, and he's having things inserted all over his orifices.
Yeah. So are
you sure you have no injuries? No, senor, my injury free. I want to play in England.
Yeah, you find all metal in his spine. Yeah, but well, that's what they're kind of doing in a legal and financial sense. But you've got to get right down into the weeds of every single customer, every single penny, every one of it justified, what's recurring, blah blah. So that deal was done. I'd always said I wanted to get out by the time I was 50. I haven't actually done that. I'm definitely going to be working with Software Circle for at least another 3 years, and I am excited about it. But so I turned 50 on what day is the 13th? Wow. 2 days ago.
Oh, you look great, Carl.
Same birthday as Claire Byrne. Yeah, me and her actually birth twins. I don't know if I'm giving away her age, but it was same year, same day.
And the reason, as long as you don't say anything about Miriam's age, it's fine here. I'm 65, by the way.
You are?
Sorry, no, Miriam.
Oh, jeez. I was like,
I don't talk like that, Carl. Okay, it is flies around shit. What I was going to say.
Can I be the shit? I don't know.
Eddie Murphy and Pete Davidson's worst day on the job is your best night in. The Pickup brings the action, hilarious laughs, and it's streaming now on Prime Video. Eddie Murphy and Pete Davidson star as Russell and Travis, two armored truck drivers thrown into absolute madness after what was supposed to be a routine cash run. They're ambushed by a gang of criminals led by Zoe, played flawlessly by Keke Palmer. And from there, it's nothing but twists, trouble, and top-tier chemistry. Directed by Tim Story, The Pickup serves action, laughs, and the kind of mess you'll want to rewind. It's fast-paced, hilarious, and a total thrill ride from start to finish. Expect wild detours, explosive setups, and the kind of chaos you can't look away from. If you're into unpredictable pairings and big summer energy, this is your movie. Watch The Pickup now, only on Prime Video.
Moms and dads, do you wish you could know where your kids' shoes are at all times? Now you can with Skechers' newest Apple AirTag compatible sneakers, Find My Skechers. There's a clever hidden AirTag compartment under the shoe's insole. It's sleek, secure, and your child can't feel or see it. Then you can check where your kids' shoes are on the Find My app. Plus, they're available for boys and girls. Get Find My Skechers at Skechers.com, a Skechers store near you, or wherever kids' shoes are sold. Apple AirTags sold separately.
So basically, Patrick emailed me the other day and he said, "What about Karl on the podcast again?" And I went,
"I'm lucky."
And I went, "Why?" And he went, "This article." And what did the article say?
Oh yeah,
because this is this news story. So
this is yeah. So
what? To give us the headline:
Karl Deeter sells his company for $9 million.
Yay!
Boom. Yeah.
So after all the heartache and the tribulation, but at the same time, talking with people all the time, you're such a kind of you're a man on the street. You're a man on that will talk to people. You're a man who plays music in a bar. You're a man who'll go out to dinner with people. You're a man who's always kind of hustling and around with people and chatting.
Yeah, like when I'm walking through town, I'm as likely to know a business owner as I am someone coming out of the flats.
Yeah,
that's who I am. I chat to different people around different areas.
And how did you feel when you signed that deal?
Kind of didn't feel anything, Mario. When I say I don't experience joy, I don't. The thing that drives me isn't really that. Like I was like, wow, that's right. That's a good achievement.
I believe you.
But the things that truly make me happy are they're not really money things, and that's nice. My life is immeasurably better, and I'm now working with a great crowd. They're going to help us get to the next level. That excites me.
Yeah.
The discovery process.
Yeah.
Like I would happily be skint if I was able to try and discover like a lost forest or something.
Yeah.
And in fact, a lot of the work that I did in the past was about that. I was trying to.
In other words, you're in the right area in your life. You found the right area in your life, which was finding things, discovering things, planning things, making things, building things, and maybe, and because I know you to this level as well, maybe offering a public service in doing so. Yeah,
I referred to it earlier on. Even if you want to laugh at this, I genuinely believe that I'm fulfilling my destiny. But I really, really believe that.
What is that?
My destiny was, if I look at the many failures I've had in my life, and I tend not to talk about them, I just forget about them. That's why I say I had such good luck. I just wipe all that stuff out. If you look, like I started off in computer science in university, dropped out of that, went to business management with some, computer management information systems in there. Worked in bars, trained dogs, played music, all these things, started a brokerage, worked in financial services, started making a system. Even the people involved, they all crossed paths with me because I genuinely believe I'm uniquely suited towards solving this one problem. And you don't, there's someone out there who's going to cure cancer, and great for them, and I wish them all the best. There's a lot of other smaller problems in the world. And I think that sometimes you're put on a path where if you embrace it and accept it, that you can be the one who solves that. And I believe this is my one. And that's why I don't care who competes against me. I'm fulfilling my destiny. So I'll just work until I die to solve this anyway. You can't compete against me in a winning sense because I'm too driven. I'm too obsessed with this. It means too much to me to step back from it. So it's like fighting a boxer who you punch the head off and he just keeps on pushing forward. That's where I'm at with this, and it's and that's why, when you said, "Oh, you signed
the Terminator,"
well, like I said, it didn't change the way I feel about it.
And you're going to continue.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
And even though you sold the company, you're going to continue to work with it. Is that right?
No, I'm still the CEO. I'm the CEO of the business, and it's my now duty to deliver on the future plans.
Are you going to give yourself a good salary?
Well, yeah, I mean, I already did okay, so I'll probably stay in the okay territory.
Okay.
I'll be making enough that I'll complain about paying taxes.
Yeah.
But I think people do that once they hit about average wage in this country. So,
sure.
So that's the path. That's where I'm going.
Okay, it's fascinating, and you speak about it in a really interesting way. And we're delighted for you, Patrick and myself, and Leanne, even though she's just known it. We're delighted for you.
Thank you.
What other things can I ask you about in terms of this journey? What do you think about being an entrepreneur or a person who thinks about new things and tries to in Ireland? How has the Irish environment suited you? Is it terrible, or could it have been? Was it brilliant? Was it terrible? Or what? Or in the middle?
So if I was to be totally sincere, had I not done anything in Ireland and back in 2006, instead of staying here and doing mortgage, cloud-based systems. If I just gone to the USA and do it, I'd probably be a billionaire, because I would have been so far ahead of the curve and with such an opportunity in the product that you would have turned it into something massive. The US market is effectively endlessly broad and endlessly deep. And there is a part of me that wishes I played the big game, or played in the big league, like the way a footballer, say, who plays in a local good team versus if they ever could have gotten into the championship or something that was like several levels up. Another part of me thinks, what would I have had to give up for that? What would I have lost along the way? Would I have kept my health, etc., etc.? So I've made peace with that, although it is one of those things that will be my what if question. Other than that, the Irish market is very small. Like, using the US as an example, Ireland is about 80,000 kilometres in size, like square kilometres. And that's around the same size as South Carolina. Population, give or take a little bit above 5 million, roughly the same as South Carolina. And people usually don't talk about, let's go to South Carolina and make a business that never goes beyond South Carolina, So that's where I think that some of the bigger expansive markets are. And the thing I learned with fintech was, like, there are certain financial technologies that can spread, like Revolut, or, things that can go to multiple jurisdictions where there's a host of diversity of problems to deal with and regulations, but they're still close enough that there's a workable path. Whereas mortgages, say, between the UK and here are just so vastly different, even though it's the closest English-speaking jurisdiction. And the mortgages between here and France or here in Germany, they're just so far apart from each other that you can't easily insert your business in there unless you kind of go with a partner. And usually when people spread, they go with a partner of some sort, be it, a bank partner who brings them in, or a loan servicing partner who trails them in behind them. So that's something that was tricky, and that I've kind of had to come to terms with. But the upside being, now that I know we're going to make brokers the best distribution channel in Ireland, that gives me a razor focus. So when we're developing our AI tools, which there's some great stuff coming down the line in that, in a really positive way, when we're developing new integrations, when we're doing all these things, I know I'm going to solve it forensically for people in a way that will make lives better. People might say, oh, look, financial services, you're all the shower shysters. But if you have someone who's given a person advice, and over the life of that loan, they save them a few €1,000 on a protection policy that goes with that mortgage, like a mortgage protection. If they save them, $500 a year, which, over 10 years, $5,000, over 20 years, 10, like those are real
material differences. Yeah.
Yeah. And I wasn't smart enough to be a doctor or solve brain surgery stuff, but I'm smart enough to help people in the other biggest thing in your life, which is your money, after your health. And so I feel incredibly honored that I'm able to do that, but also to do it on a somewhat more kind of systemic level, where the good is being spread amongst a lot of people, and a lot more of it. So that's kind of cool.
Are your backers happy with this result?
That's what they tell me, singing my praises.
But they sound like, with due respect, they sound like the same as you, in the sense that they in a way, they don't count things in terms of money. They sound, you see, a lot of
some of them don't because they don't have to, but that's but then that's great. But
that's the way people who make things are. They're there to make things. They're not there to be fascinated about the money that rolls in because of it.
Yeah. So I guess the difference between, what I'd call the inherited wealth class and the entrepreneur class is it, and they're both ways to do it. One you can control, the other you can't. Is inherited wealth is incredibly conservative and almost fearful, whereas entrepreneur wealth is endlessly curious and willing to look at risk for the joy of the discovery of whether you can make it work or not,
And the making it work is a moment of kind of a Midas moment of breakthrough. It's a moment of discovery. It's a moment. It's eureka.
You see, but you've had it though. If you think about, I know you do big shows and you've had big success in the, I keep on calling it the Point Down, whatever
the Three Arena.
Yeah, the Three Arena. When you first did one of them, what was that like for you?
The big show.
Yeah.
When you jumped and do a big show.
Yeah.
Well, I have to be honest that the biggest show I've ever done is the Three Arena. And by the time I got to the Three Arena in March, I had done 9 shows already. And the 9 shows had worked. We'd put so much work into the 9 shows before the 9 shows that by the time it was the first show, I was nervous, really nervous in the first show down in Cork. Then the first show, it went really well. By the third show, the show was a machine. After that, you're going, I can't wait to show this show to the next crowd. And then down the road, there's the 3 Arena. The 10th show was the 3 Arena. When it came to the night, all I was doing was waiting and looking out through the curtain to see the 6,000 people sitting down going, I cannot wait to jump out there and show them this. And I just wanted to show them. All I wanted to do was show them. And there was an element of show-offery, but there was an element of me celebrating it as well. So I really just wanted to show them because I went, they're going to get the first bit that I do. I know they are. I can smell it. I'm waiting they see the second and third bit because they're going to go nuts. And so all I was interested in was showing it to them, doing it. I just wanted to do it. The experience itself was brilliant, but no. I mean, the experience itself of 6,000 people watching you is a fantastic thing, especially in an arena like that. You can see their eyeballs from about the 30th row. So it's scaled up in such a way that even 30 rows back, you can see their eyeballs.
I've always been mesmerised though. Like you go to a music show, at least you have some respite behind the band that not everybody is looking at you, or most of them are looking at the singer. But with
but that's high.
It is the most like.
Oh, it's ultimate risk.
Yeah,
and so you're on a tight wire. But I kind of secretly knew that the tight wire was going to work because you see it on 9 other audiences and you know they're going to have to get this. And I was also scaling up, and I've seen that when this show is scaled up before, that actually it adds to the thing because my humour is broad. My humour is broad, and when humour is broad, larger amounts of people every time get it.
But so when you were asking me how did it feel when it happened, it just, and this is just for me to bounce off you, like when you got to that point, oh wow, I've done the 3 Arena. Oh wow, I've booked it. Oh wow, it's sold out. Oh wow, the curtain's going up. At that exact moment, like the pleasure that you feel was probably, and I hope you did financially great out of it, but it probably wasn't that. You get what I mean? It probably wasn't the money. There was actually a huge amount of validation, the culmination of a path of destiny, which, although you don't talk about the path of destiny the way I do.
No, but believe me, money is never, it's never about it with the in entertainment because
it can't be.
It can't. But also what you're doing is you're looking for new audiences. That's what you are. You're looking for new audiences. You're like a kind of a settler. I'm watching the 1883 at the moment, and they're going out.
I love that show.
And they're going westwards at the moment. Yeah. And so you're like a settler who keeps wanting to find new territories and new people to make laugh. Like I had a great experience going to Northern Ireland, and I played in front of 290 people. And 290 people, one of the best nights of my life. I was in the Waterfront studio in Belfast, and the reason it was brilliant was because I didn't know if they would get the humour. And actually they doubly got the humour because they appreciated me coming up there. And actually the darkness of the Northern Irish humour was something that I had underestimated. And of course they have seen so much darkness that their humour is of course then really naughty and really mischievous. So they were like, go on, even harder, give it to us now. And I'm there, are you sure? Should I not tiptoe around this? Fuck tiptoeing, give it to us hard, right down the centre.
You ever see that show Ted with Mark Wahlberg? It wouldn't be spectacular comedy, but at one stage they go to a comedy club and they start heckling the guy, and he's like, okay, give me a name. Harvey Weinstein? No. Bill Cosby? Like, oh Jesus, give me a place. He's trying to improv. The Office of Charlie Hebdo, and it's like complete inappropriate everything. Yeah. Like, do the comedy, you know. So I have to say, dark humour is very much my thing.
I love taking stuff on. I love the idea of taking stuff on. I love taking on a challenge, and I love the process of working out the process of getting that challenge done. I also love the process of meeting the people that I'm going to do that challenge with. I regard them as my kind of soldiers that are fighting in the trenches with me. And I want those soldiers, and I think this is an important thing because I learned it, I want those soldiers to be either as bright or brighter than me. So I'm not one of those people who goes, I'm the smartest person in the room. I don't want to be. When it comes to that area, I want to be fourth smartest. When it comes to this, I want to be second smartest, that sixth smartest, that nowhere near smartest. But I want to surround myself with people who have faith in this project, who are smarter than me. I'm better at certain things.
But this is what I'm trying to describe when I talk about that idea of destiny. Like, why is it that the right people found you? Is it any coincidence that in a world of 8 billion people that you ended up with exactly that crew, and all the choices you've made in your life and all the decisions you made and music and shows, and it brought you to this moment? So when it actually comes, the joy isn't really like, boom, I've done it, now I've zenithed and it's all downhill. It's not. It's just it's a point on the path where, like, for a moment you're on the hilltop, you look around and say, wow, this is just but then you're back into the journey.
You are back into the journey again. And one thing I experienced, which I'm kind of getting a sense from you that you have it as well. But I'll take a risk and say it anyway. And that is, I have a very strong belief in visualization. The idea that you can see it before it happens. The idea that you dream it before it happens. I think that so for example, I'll just take that example of the 3 Arena. For many, many nights in going to sleep, I saw myself coming out onto stage and the stage was full. The audience was full. I would repeat it, come through, out onto the stage. It's full. Night after night in my head. And I would go, what am I saying when I come out? How is it feeling? And that's what it was. I would until almost that what you do on the night is nearly a deja vu.
I'd use a lot of kind of like heuristics or kind of little rules of thumb, but mind hacks all the time. So I try and visualize success happening. I try and imagine, even when I go to the gym, like if I'm squatting something, I'm like, damn, I hate squats. They're really good for you, but God, I hate them. But I try and imagine that bar being lifted, or even that there's like hot air balloons helping me lift it, and so that they're there making it easier on me. Like all sorts of mind tricks to help you deal with it. There is in creation, and really, like you're on the creative world of giving people release by giving them things to laugh about. Yeah. I'm in the creative world of creating a product that will hopefully improve certain aspects of financial services. They're not at all related, not really, but within the kind of ethos of trying to create and get an outcome, they're actually quite closely aligned, and they have a process, and it takes hard work, and people don't see that. They see the end result and just think this this just magically happens. Funny enough, I think a lot of people feel they could probably build a tech company easier than be a comedian. I don't know what the actual calculus of that one is, but I'm just saying, like, I would never try and do what you do. And so it's...
you do play music on stage in front of people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I'm a paid musician. Yeah. No, it is. But that's, like I said, that's... I have people to hide behind, and like you, I always play with people better than me. Everyone that I ever play with.
Tennis is a very interesting one as well. I'm a keen tennis player.
Yeah, you any good?
I mean, it's all relative.
Like, I don't know, like if there's like handicaps in tennis, or like what is there like levels? Okay, which one are you?
Well, play at class 3 and class 4, and there's 8 classes. But like there's,
is class 1 the best, or
class 1 is kind of international level, right? And class 2 would be really, really, really strong. But anyway, my point is that when in tennis, the objective of all tennis is to play with somebody just slightly better than you. So you're constantly looking for people who are slightly better than you, and so that's the deal.
I played competitive chess when I was a kid, and that was the same. You just play masters.
Boy, I love chess as well.
Kicked.
I love chess as well. Love chess.
I got ranked up to about 1540 or something, and then I retired, which is completely unimpressive. But I'm so far out of.
I got to 2100.
Yeah, well, then you're up in the Masters.
But that's only on... No, I couldn't be, because that's only on the fucking chess.com.
It doesn't matter. Well, if you do it on chess.com, I'm just saying 2000 is Master. And then 2500 is Grandmaster.
Well, I'm not a Master, but I mean, maybe I'm advanced, but...
Well, you'd be good enough to, like...
I beat the 2000 players.
Beat most people in prison. You know, just like, yeah, that's great.
Yeah. We must have a game to see if, because I haven't gone to playing people in Romania yet, or finding them online, or Czechoslovakia, or former Czech Republic.
You'll get your ass handed to you with some of those Eastern European.
I'm Eastern European. I'm rated 840. 840.
Yeah,
only 840. Yeah. Yes, but very good compared to Ireland.
We have no television.
I visualize myself handing Karl Deeter his arse on plate. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop this conversation, because we're going to restart the conversation soon, because I want to talk to you about Trump. Right. And I want to talk to you what's happened in America. So for my listeners who don't know Karl takes a very interesting view on the American political system, Democrats and Republicans, and indeed in the past has had, shall we say, refreshing views on the presidency of Donald J. Trump. And I want to talk to him about that. Karl, for now, though, the reason you're here is I just want to say congratulations. We've known you for so long, and Patrick wanted to send on his congratulations for your success and your ongoing success, and where this is going to just help you go further in where you were. And you owe us a steak somewhere really, really nice.
Absolutely.
It's on you this time.
That's done. Done. Well done.
Well done.
Thank you.
And my thanks to Karl Deeter. My thanks to you, of course, to Mario Rosenstock at gmail.com if you want to get in touch with me about anything, any suggestions at all. And of course, a big shout out to my great sponsor, deluxebathrooms.ie. Visit them now for up to 70% off for your dream bathroom. See you same time, same place next week.